Well, do it live! Fuck it! Do it live!
Mouthpiece, episode 186. Today we're going to talk about my week in poker, my up-and-coming procedure in Seattle. It's going to hopefully get me out of pain. The NFL picks of the week. We're still rolling along. Been 1-1 or 2-0 or 2-1 every week. And the Mouthpiece is next. What up? Welcome to the Mouthpiece, episode 186. Missed you all last week. We went 1-1 on our top picks. Actually, we ended up going 2-1 because I did bet Atlanta also. It was crazy. I went 4-6 in pick'em last week, but the big games I bet, I went 4-1. Not bad. So, yeah, NFL's been pretty good. Oh, you're back to that. Yeah, everything's good. Can't complain. So let's see. I haven't played much poker. I played last week. I won 10,700. Then I lost 8,700 and I was up 11,000 that day. And I picked up kings against aces against the livest person in the group. I was up like 2K. Then I played again. About 2 days later, I won like 15,700. So I'm up like 17,000 for the last 10 days. I haven't played much, which is good. Because I have a procedure I'm going to in Seattle next Friday, and hopefully this procedure is going to help me with my pain. That's going to cost me $11,000. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Let's see what else is going on. NFL's been pretty good. I mean, I had the Raiders Thursday night, first half. They were terrible. I mean, I don't even know how I won that game. And somebody gave me a few games today. They gave me Texas Tech and Notre Dame, and both won easily. I got Iowa. Somebody gave me Iowa and Connecticut. So, whatever. I'm just enjoying myself, betting super duper small, and hopefully. Did I go to the RJC? I was supposed to go. My good friend Matt Brooks runs the RJC at the Venetian, but it's too much pain for me. I mean, I can barely leave the house, so I'm just hoping that this procedure that I am doing on next Saturday helps me with my pain, because it's to the point where I can't function. So that's been going on. That's really what my life has been. I'm 14-4 on the Fade Us podcast on the year, which is pretty incredible because we have to pick them on Tuesday, and by Friday I'm usually on to or off of one of the two games I pick and on to another one. And that's why you guys get to get me on Friday or Saturday, because just because I picked a couple games, and I've done well. 14-4 is pretty incredible, but I found myself on a game I like a little bit more than what I gave out on Tuesday. I gave out on Tuesday the Packers over the Eagles, and the line has moved 2.5 points against me, which I hate going against the line moves, because when they move this much, they're usually right. I mean, I shouldn't say they're usually right. They were really good last week. The week before, and all the favorites won, they weren't very good. So, but I just hate going against the line moves. So it's either I'm going to be right, and the Packers laid down last week when I guaranteed Carolina plus the points and said they had a shot to win outright, and that they're really good, and they look past them to the Eagles, and the Eagles aren't very good, or I'm going to be wrong, and they didn't looking to the Eagles, and the Packers just suck. But we'll see what's going on. I still think I know Green Bay losing Kraft is huge for them, but I think they got Christian Watson back, and he's been back for a few weeks. I think he's going to catch a lot of balls. I think the Eagles' pass defense sucks. I know they went out and got Zay Alexander from the Ravens. Do you think with that horrible Ravens pass defense that if Zay Alexander was any good, they would let him go for a 6th-round pick? So there you go. That's where you're at. So I had them as my number 1 pick on the Fetus podcast is Green Bay this week, and it's pick'em. You say he's garbage. I watched him light up that shitty ass Steeler defense 2 weeks ago, and I don't know. The Eagles' pass defense has showed me nothing. So we shall see. We shall see. We shall see. But the game I give 2 picks a week on the Fetus Sports Podcast, which is it's really kind of fun because, as you know, I'm the only one that has a clue over there. They just Phil and Cantu just pick as many square games as they can, and then they pray. I'm my number 1 pick was there, but the game I guaranteed this week, and I'm still guaranteeing it, and that's the Saints. The Saints getting 5.5 against Carolina. I mean, forget what you saw last week. Yeah, they won. Okay, they had 100 yards passing. They gave up 160 yards on the ground, and they have a great run defense. They're going to fix that this week. And, beside game 2 against the Giants, what has Barkley or that offense done? And game 2 against the Giants, they lost Scatterboo. They're defeated. So, we're going to find out if I'm right or they're right. And I think I'm right. The Eagles are 6-2, and 7 games they've been outgained. As far as I'm concerned, they could have lost 6 or 7 of them. So maybe they fix their defense with Zay Alexander. I don't think so. The Saints play solid, and they're good. They play hard. They don't give up. The Carolina, you realize Carolina was getting 13.5 last week, and now they're laying 5.5. So you're trying to tell me that they're 19 points better than the Saints? That's what you're telling me, right? You're telling me the Saints would have been, because the worst team against the best team is 14. That's what it is. And they were 13.5 last week, and now they're 5.5. They're the favorite for the first time in 3 years. Do you know what the Carolina Panthers are as a favorite in their last 10? Exactly, 0-10. So this team can't lay 5.5 to anybody. I'm telling you, they got 5 wins. They have wins over the Jets, Miami, and I think, what was the other fucking team they beat? Dallas. You saw how bad Dallas was Monday. So, just to give you guys an idea, I have really fucking spent a lot of time breaking down these games. And the truth of the matter is I could give you a lot more games, but in the NFL, I like to pick 2 or 3. And I'm so sure on this Carolina. I just am. let's go over their season. They lost 26-10 to the Jags in week 1. They lost 27-22 to the Cardinals. The Cardinals were up in that game 27-6, and they almost won that game with an onside kick at the end of the game. Then they played the Falcons. We know how bad the Falcons are. So their wins are against the 3-6 Falcons, the 2-7 Dolphins. That's 5-13. The 3-6 Cowboys, or 3-5-1. That's 8-18-1, and the Jets, who are 1-7. So their wins are against 9-25-1. Okay. Now, that's not counting the Packers last week. The Packers didn't even punt last week and lost the game. Okay. The wind was blowing. It was crazy weather. And look at the teams they got crushed by. I mean, the Patriots 42-13. The Bills 40-9. Any good team has crushed them. They're not good enough to lay 5.5 to anybody. That's all I'm telling you. That's all I'm telling you. I watched that. They're the number 1 pick in Circa this week is Carolina, and they're going to lose. They're going to lose. You mark it down. They are going to lose. Just remember, every 2 weeks in Circa Survivor, for the last 5 years, they lose half the field every 2 weeks. They lost nobody last week. Now, they should have lost 25% with Denver on Thursday because that was a shit show. And I had to hear it because Cantu still has a pick left in Circa Survivor when Denver was down 7-0, how I cost him because he wanted to go Carolina. And I told him, you have to go Denver. Now, they were awful. That offense was awful. And I asked him, you still want Carolina? Because Denver's already won, of course. I'm just so sure of this, man. I've never been so sure of something. I was so sure last week that Carolina was going to win or cover. I gave you guys I put it on the VSiN on our Feta Sports podcast, and I posted it on the Twitter. I apologize, I didn't have it. I didn't have podcast last week. I have no idea. I think I was a terrible pain. So yeah. So and then my other pick is I took Houston +2. It's down to pick 'em. They have the wrong side favored in this game. And if I was doing the Feta Sport podcast on the weekend, my 2 best picks would be Houston and the Saints. And I probably wouldn't have put the Packers. And only because I stayed with the Packers because it was early in the week. I didn't want to switch off because I told everybody last week, I guaranteed Carolina on our podcast would either win or cover because I thought Green Bay was looking forward to this week. So that's why I took Green Bay this week. So we'll see who's right and who's wrong. If you watch Houston, they have the number 1 defense in the NFL. That's it. They lost 17-10 in week 1 or week 2, whatever it was, week 2 to the Jags. It's another week for Mills to get reps. He didn't have reps last week. He's as good as if he might be better than Stroud. Who knows? He'll be fine. They have their offense healthy. Their offensive line is healthy. Their defense is a juggernaut. It's a must win game for Houston. They're at home, and I don't think the Jags are very good. So there you go. Those are the 3 games I bet this week. I wish I would have waited on the Green Bay game because the Tucker Kraft injury was huge, and also the trade deadline. They picked up a few people, the Eagles, but it's either I'm right or they're right. And I think the Eagles suck, and I think Green Bay plays to the level of competition. So we shall see. If you guys really want to know, like, you said the Ravens are a must-win game, right? I like the Ravens this week. At first, I liked the Vikings. I thought it through for a while. And, I mean, McCarthy had 160 yards passing last week. Detroit had a season high, 20 penalties? And if it wasn't for a blocked field goal, they would have won. Love does get the ball out. And I think Watson's going to be a lot more involved this week. He has to be without Kraft. Look at the Eagles' pass defense. I mean, do you really think Zay Alexander is going to make a big difference? Now, the other guy they got to rush, the passer, Carter, that could help if they get a pass rush. But I don't know, man. I mean, Luz looked great every game except last game, and who knows? So you ask about the Bucs. I broke this game down 100 ways to Sunday. Here's the thing about the Bucs game. I don't think the Patriots are that good. Okay, they have the one win over the Bills. They caught the Bills in a bad spot, and all their wins are against dog shit teams. And they played the softest schedule. And after this game, they play another soft schedule for the next 3 or 4. And if you watched Drake May last week, I mean, he had 2 picks. They had 3 points in the second half. They weren't very good. Tampa Bay's defense is really, really good. But they are missing a lot of offense. And when you see a 2.5, here's the thing. They're 2.5. And if you think about it, it's kind of a must-win game for Tampa Bay. If they win this game, they go to 7-2. Right? They're 6. No, what are they? 5. No, I'm sorry, they're 5-2 right now. I'm sorry, 5. Are they 5-2 or 6-2? What is Tampa Bay? Hold on a second. They're 6-2, right? Or 5-2. What is Tampa Bay's record? I'm gonna tell you about this game. They're 6-2. Okay, so if they lose this game, they go to 6-3. They then have to play at the Rams and at Buffalo. So if they lose this game, they're looking at 6-5. And now, who knows if Carolina wins and doesn't this week, and I'm wrong, they'd be 6-4. It's kind of, I mean, if they want a shot at the number 1 seed, I mean, they got to win this week. So yeah, that's what I thought. They're 5-2. It says here 6-2. I mean, I thought they were 4-1, lost, and then they were 4-2, and then they won last week. But maybe I'm wrong. I mean, it says here they're 6-2. Let's see. They were 1. I know they were 3-1, 4-1, 5-1. Yeah, they're 6-2. They're 5-1, and they lost it. So they're 6-2. So they play the Patriots, then at Bills, at Rams. Okay. Then they come home, Arizona. Arizona covers against everybody. Then home versus the Saints in Atlanta. Panthers, Miami. I guess it's really not a must-win. I mean, they play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dog shit teams to end the year. So they could be 6-5. They go 5-1, then they're 11-6. But if they really think they can win the Super Bowl and they really think they're that good, they got to win this week. And so I don't know. I don't like laying 2.5 when a team's in a kind of a must-win game, and this line hasn't moved at all. The one team's completely healthy. The other team's missing they're just missing so many players on offense. But I believe in Baker. I mean, if I take anybody, I'm taking Tampa Bay, but it's not going to be a bet. It's not going to be a bet, that's for sure. Abuka's been great, but who do they have for a running back, and who else do they have to throw to? Godwin's still out. Evans is out for the year. I don't know. I don't think that Patriot defense is very good. So yeah, they're going to win the NFC South. I agree. But if you want a chance, if you think you're that good, which they do, and you want a chance at the 1 seed or even the 2, they kind of almost got to win this week. But we'll see. I'm not betting them, but I'm probably taking them and pick them. I've said this forever. When a team is 3.5, and they usually on the road, they want you to take the 3.5, right? When the team is 2.5 at home, they're begging you to bet the favorite. And so I always stay off the games that are like 2.5 at home usually, and stay off the 3.5s on the road, because to me the bookmakers are saying, here, bet this. You could lay less than a field goal, which is kind of where they opened Packers this week, but that was kind of a different. I knew I should have never bet them early. I knew everybody was going to bet the Eagles, so whatever. We'll see if I'm right or I'm wrong. Let's see what else is going on. I think a lot of the favorites bounce back this week, but I'm not betting them. I told you the 3 I bet. I bet Houston for 2K. I bet Green Bay for 2K, and I bet the Saints for 2K. And that's it. If I had to take anybody, I would take Indianapolis. I've got Indy on 2 teasers. I still think they're the best team in the NFL. I think they just had a bad game last week. And, I have them to win the Super Bowl. You know that, at 36-1. So, let's see. We'll see what else is going on here. Bills and Dolphins, no interest. That line was 10. It's down to 9. If I had to do anything, I'd take the Dolphins. Coming off the big win over Kansas City, they could be flat in this game. And the Dolphins, they give every game away, so who knows. And the Ravens are 4. What else we have? The Bears have gone from 3.5 to 4.5. I can't lay 4.5 with the Bears, but I think they're going to win. I'm using Seattle this week in my. I happen to have Seattle now. I might not use Seattle because I could take the Rams. I have the Rams available, and I have Seattle available. Now I'm the only one of the 4 of us left that has the Rams available and Seattle. And I was just thinking about if I take the Rams this week, right? And not Seattle, then I could go in week 12 against the Titans. I can go Seattle, and then week 11. I just hate taking road division in the NFL. It's just, but this line has moved from 3 to 6, and they want revenge for that giveaway on that Thursday night. So if I don't go Seattle in my survivor that I have left, and I go Rams, right? Then week 11, that's next week, right? If Houston wins, which I think they're going to, I do not have Houston available against the Titans, but I could go. Who can I go in week 11? Let's see. I have the Ravens available. I could go the Ravens against Cleveland next week. There you go. Well, that's what I have available. Yeah, I can go the Ravens against Cleveland next week. So I could go Rams, Ravens, and Seattle week 12 against the Titans. So that's where I'm at. I don't know, man. I do think the favorites are going to win this week, but I'm not sure if they're going to cover. The Colts laying 6.5. They're a really good team, but Atlanta's defense is really good. I didn't like what I heard out of the Atlanta coach. He said, "Yeah, we got to go to Berlin. That's a miserable trip, but we're going to try and make the best out of misery. So they're already negative that they're going there. When I heard that, I said to myself, man, Atlanta might just get killed in this game. I mean, the Vikings have the best home field advantage of any team in the NFL, and we don't know if that Raven pass defense is fixed. I mean, I don't know. Last week, all the things that looked, I kept telling everybody, all the square plays are going to go down, and they did. All of them. Like 3 of them lost out. 2 of them lost outright, and 3 of the 4 square plays didn't cover. So, we'll see. Anyways, so that's football. That's where I'm at in football. I have to decide which way to go on whether I want to go the Rams or Seattle this week. Again, if I use the Rams, again, Division Road is really tough. Frisco wins, they're 7-3, and they would be tied with the Rams with a tiebreaker, winning both games. If they lose, they're 2 back, and the best they're looking at, even though they have a soft schedule, is a wild card. So I don't know. They sure are betting the Rams like they can't lose. Anyways, let's take some phone calls and see what you guys want to talk about. And
The Mouthpiece.
If you'd like to take part in our phone call segment, you can give us a call at 702-329-0480. And if you're a snowflake or a pussy and you don't want to talk to me, you can email me at mouthpiecepodcast@gmail.com. Also, follow me at the Mouth Matusow on Twitter for times that our call-in segment will be live.
702.
The Mouthpiece.
702-329-0480. Give us a call. Tell me what you want to talk about. I saw somebody write what I think of the new mayor of New York. I think it is a present that was handed to the GOP. And I think Trump didn't do anything. He didn't have the GOP guy drop out. If they really wanted Cuomo to win, they would have made sure he dropped out. I think the GOP wanted a socialist to win, because now they could just campaign in 2026 on he's the leader of the Democrat Party. That's what they want. They're socialists. They're communists. And they're going to run on that. And that's how they're going to win the midterms, and that's how they're going to win in 2028. 702-329-0480. So that's my thought on Mr. Mandami. I just can't believe somebody like that is the mayor of the biggest city in the country. What's up? Welcome to Mouthpiece, Mike.
Hey, Mike. So I want you to take a shot and a guess at this, but forget about hockey, basketball, football, and baseball.
Right.
I am a diehard fan of the worst-run organization of all 4 of them combined.
Okay, that means that you are a fan of the worst of all 4 combined. I mean, can anything be worse than the Jets?
Ding, you got it right. So,
I mean, let's talk about it. I mean, I like them this week, by the way.
Let's talk about it. So, on top of, and I'm in obviously New York,
okay,
and people are all excited about the 2 trades they made this week.
Well,
which
they made
is
a great
beyond my comprehension.
Well, they made great trades. Those were great trades. They weren't going anywhere, and so they picked up 2 number 1s and 2 number 2s. You got to rebuild from within, and you don't have to pay. They had already paid Sauce like what, $120 million guaranteed. They get out of that contract. He hasn't been that good, and now you got 4. You're 1-7. You're not going anywhere. They're probably going to tank to try and win, try and get the quarterback Mendoza from Indiana, I would think. I like the trade, bro. I mean, I like the trade from my world champion Colts too, because I told you, everybody, this is what we need. We need a corner, and I was hoping to get Hendrickson too. I was hoping to get the edge rusher in Hendrickson from Cincinnati, but we were desperate for a corner. And now we got a world-class corner that's going to take the Indianapolis Colts to the promised land. But I love the trade.
For me, who's seen this video, rinse, repeat for like 15 years straight, it doesn't come off as good, and I'll tell you why. I mean, listen, in the NFL, in the current game, you need to master quarterback. Mm-hmm. You need to master secondary, which obviously Sauce was a really nice piece.
Yep.
And you need to master pressuring the quarterback.
Correct.
3 most important spots.
Correct.
Right? Running back, Brees Hall on an expiring contract, could have flipped him.
I mean, I would have gave – the fact that they didn't want to give up Brees for the 4th rounder with Kansas City, that was crazy. I would have – what's the difference between a 3rd and a 4th? But you know what? Kansas City deserves this. I mean, they had Pacheco in the game with 3 minutes to go up by 21, and his knee got shredded. Now, I don't know if I saw the hit. That knee went backwards. I don't think he's coming back for the year. I mean, he's out for what they say it's a sprained knee, but I mean, Brees Hall is exactly what Kansas City needed at the trade deadline, and they didn't get him.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. But now the Jets are going to do, once again, the unbelievable. And I sit there and I'm like, this is literally the 5th cycle. Let's take a rookie head coach who's on the defensive side of the ball, and let's now pair a 1st-round draft pick quarterback with him. How many fucking times can you do the same exact thing and continue to get it wrong? It makes no sense.
I mean,
Aaron Glenn doesn't look like
first of all, Aaron Glenn looks like – I have him rated the worst coach in the NFL, okay? He doesn't have a fucking clue what he's doing, okay? Now, it's sad, but these trades are telling you that Aaron Glenn is coming back next year. That's what they're telling you.
Agreed.
And I personally, after what I witnessed in the first 7 games and 8 games, whatever, they got the miracle against the worst defense in NFL history, which is the Bengals. I witnessed a coach that doesn't know that has no idea what he's doing clock management. He has no idea what he's doing with any management. He has no right being a head coach. Okay? I see it. Okay? I mean, anybody that doesn't see it is just blind. And so these trades do say that he's going to be back next year, which is, what did I don't know if you've been listening, but I laughed. I said, if you watched Aaron Rodgers the last 9 games last year or whatever, let's just say the last 12, where he was like his QBR was like 112. He had 8 touchdowns and 1 pick his last 6-7 games, right? So you treat him like shit. He's a Hall of Famer. He comes all the way across the country for you to tell him, get the fuck out. And then you say, we'll take the backup, not the starting quarterback of the Steelers last year. We'll take the backup quarterback from the Steelers next year and sign him, and you could take our starter, and he could be the starting quarterback of Pittsburgh this year. Now, Pittsburgh's 5-3, and without Aaron Rodgers, they'd be fucking like 1-7. Let's be honest. The defense came to play last week, but Rodgers wasn't even that good. They had like 230 yards of offense, right? I mean, they're a mess.
Well, and the thing is, too, as I sit here every miserable Sunday for literally 15 years straight, I see, okay, we had Sam Darnold in-house. He's literally playing in the top 3 in quarterback in the league.
He's playing incredible.
You just had Aaron Rodgers, who's excelling. Shit, even Pete Carroll, not this year, but for years, had Geno Smith playing. All of these guys in the building, but again, we're going to pair just like we did with
who's
Salah
worse? I mean,
Wilson.
When you said I was going to say the Jets are the worst, but then Cleveland is right there with them, right? Like, Cleveland had Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield took them to the promised land in year 1 as a rookie. He won 11 games. And then he was banged up, and their offensive line, Chubb got injured. They had no run game. And then he went like 8-8, right? And then he went 7-9. And then they told him to get fucked, right? And you know when I knew Baker? I'm a big Baker fan. Matter of fact, he is my favorite player in the NFL. Okay? You know when I knew Baker was a winner? When Carolina let him go, and he walked into the Rams on Wednesday afternoon and proceeded to get a 16-0 comeback against the Raiders on Thursday night football. in the last 4 minutes of the game and threw 2 fucking bombs that were incredible. And he's been nothing but great ever since. And you look at the 2 franchises, right? When you draft a quarterback at 19 years old, 20 years old, well, they're 20 years old, they are, right? You don't have Jaden Daniels of last year, okay? Those quarterbacks don't just come around. How many quarterbacks on a rookie deal have been great? Okay, yeah, if you have a quarterback on the rookie deal that you could win, that's when your window is to win Super Bowls. But how many have been great? How many have been good? Look at Bo Nix. Look at the regression of Bo Nix. But if you look at Bo Nix last year, like all his wins were against losing teams, and every time he played a winning team, he got the shit kicked out of him. That's why,
and that's with Sean Payton,
that's why I love betting against him in the playoff game last year. They lost by like 35, right? Now they do have the number 2 defense in the NFL behind Houston, and that defense is a fucking monster. But the offensive line is rated the number 1 offensive line in the NFL. J.K. Dobbins is having a great year running the ball, but he's missing. It's okay. If you get pressured, you miss. He's fucking missing guys by like 10 feet that are wide open. That was an abomination last week. But if you look at the last 3 weeks, it's been the same. It was an abomination against Houston the week before, right? And then who was the other team was abomination against? Like the only game he was good is against the second worst defense in the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys. Oh wow, they got 44 against Dallas.
The fourth quarter against the Giants, but the rest of the game he was lost.
Right, but the Giants gave the game away. That was all on the coach. Dude, they were down 15 100%. With 4 minutes to go. You run the ball, you make them take their last time out, you punt the ball, and then they have to, with 4 minutes to go, they've got to, with no timeouts, they'd have to get a touchdown within the first 80 seconds if you pin deep, and then or if they don't get in the first 80 seconds, they're going to need an onside kick, which what are the odds of getting that? The Giants coach has given away, they gave away the Dallas game, they gave away that game. They've given away 3 games. The coach is a fucking idiot, But I mean, if you really
agreed, and then of course back to my New York Jets.
Yeah.
How of course do I get knocked out of the Survivor this year?
I don't know how.
That Cincinnati Jet game where they came back in the
I was all in on Jets money line. I told you on the show Jets are going to win outright, dude.
But of course that knocks me out.
Well,
naturally.
It's pretty sad, but only a sucker would take Cincinnati because all you had to do is watch how awful their defense is. Right? You had to. First of all, I didn't think Flacco could go for that many yards. I figured, well, Jets defense.
They were up 2 touchdowns with like 5 minutes left in the game.
That's true. But I thought the Jets defense, which had allowed 13 in back-to-back games, was going to be much better. And I didn't think Flacco could do what he did against Pittsburgh week before. And he was able to not only do it that week, but he did it against the Bears last week. And the Bengals, they're the first team since fucking, was it the first team since 1960 or some crazy to score 80 points and lose both games. I mean, look at these fucking
outside of.
I mean, game 1 against the Titans, I laid 7.5 in that game, and it closed 8.5. They won by 8, and Bo Nix had 4 turnovers. Remember that? Then they had he played really well against the Colts, and that was a 50-50 game. He played really good against the Chargers, and they should have won that game. Like both those losses, they should have won Denver. Then the Bengals, they got 28 against the Bengals. Oh, wow, Bo Nix was great against the Bengals. Congratulations, right? The comeback against the Eagles pass defense sucks. I mean, I still think it sucks. Oh, yeah. Then here's the other one, your Jets. Your Jets, they scored, they should have lost that game, 13-11, right? They should have lost the Giant game. They should have lost the Texans game. They should have lost the Raiders game. Bo Nix is a disaster. But anyways,
just seems that, and the way you broke that all down, to me, this is like the most wide open in the NFL. Like, there's no clear, distinct favorite to win it all right now,
you
which
say
is going to
that.
be great.
You say that, but for since week 3, I have insisted, since my fucking Colts, since Adonis Mitchell dropped the touchdown pass at the 1, he deserves to be traded to the fucking Jets. That's where he deserves to be. Because that motherfucker, if he scored that touchdown, my Colts would have been 7-0 going into last week, and they'd be 7-1 right now. And he deserves to be on the Jets, buddy. That's all I have to say. And that week, and then the very next week, right, or that game against the Rams, they would have been up 27-13. Then fucking Danny Dimes doesn't throw the pick. Then Stafford doesn't get the 88-yard one-play touchdown. Somehow they lose by 7 in a game they should have been up 14 with 4 minutes to go. And the game was 3.5. I had a big bet on Indy in that game. But I said after that game, this is going to be, there will be a rematch, and these two teams will play in the Super Bowl. And I have said it every week for the last 8 weeks, and I'm not changing my mind. I do believe the Rams are playing the Indianapolis Colts in the Super Bowl, and there's no way I'm changing my mind. There's just no way.
I'm right there with you on the Rams. I think the Rams, to me, stand out. As long as Stafford stays healthy.
I took 5-1. I bet 5-1 for $1,000 on him to win MVP on Monday. If he stays healthy, I don't see anybody else winning MVP unless it's Taylor, and I've got him at 50-1. But he had a bad week last week. Now he comes out with 3 touchdowns and 150 against Atlanta's really good run defense. He'll be right back up there again. So,
listen, I don't think you're far off on Indy. I just think Indy's going to have home field at least.
Let's look at who they play. Right. If I'm right, I see 2 more losses out of Indy. So that means 13-4. Okay. Does 13-4 get you home field advantage? And I think it does.
It's definitely the 2 seed. It's definitely at minimum the 2 seed.
Right. So there are 2 tough games. At Seattle, at Kansas City, okay? But they're going to get Kansas City off a bye, okay? So they laid the egg last week in Pittsburgh, but the defense was great. And once that defense is healthy, I mean, does anybody have a better pair of corners and edge rushers than Indy? I mean, on paper? I mean, Indy's defense looks like a monster. Their offensive line looks like the best in football. And listen, I think last week was an anomaly. I think that they had a very bad game plan for Philadelphia or for the Steelers. They let their offensive line go one-on-one against the Steelers pass rushers, and they fucking ate them up. And that was the only bad. Listen, there's only one team in the NFL that hasn't had a bad game. You know what team that is, right?
The Colts.
No, they just had a bad game last week. We had 6 turnovers.
I mean, listen, they lost by 1 score, right?
Yeah, but they had 6 turnovers. There's only one team that hasn't had a fucking bad game this year. And everybody's talking about them, and I'm fucking scared to death.
Or Seattle.
That's it. They're the only team without a bad game. They lost the game to Frisco. They should have won. And they knocked me out of 3 of my survivors when they put up 35 against Tampa Bay, who was missing their entire fucking offense. They had no Bucky Irving. They had no Evans. They had no Godwin. They were missing an offensive lineman. They put up 35 against them and lost. I lost 3 of my survivors in that game. But they haven't played a bad game. They could easily be 8-0. They could have won that game. They should have won the Frisco game. I just hope they don't. So Arizona, right? They're 3-5. They've played 1 bad game this year. Like, you could say they could be 8-0, but they played 1 bad game, and that was against Seattle.
Kyler Murray's terrible. So
Seattle led that game 20-6 with 5 minutes to go, and Arizona had like 45 yards of offense, and then somehow they get touchdown, 3-and-out touchdown to get the game tied at 20, and then they win 23-20. If you remember, that game was a snoozer. Kyler Murray was so bad that game. They looked like they had zero chance in that game. But that was the only bad game Arizona's played. I mean, yeah, they came back and tied it, whatever, but they were awful for 55 minutes. Other than that, Arizona's covered every game. So I think people are also jumping way too hard on the backup quarterback for Arizona. Oh, yeah, he looked great last week. Name one quarterback who hasn't looked good against the Dallas defense. Can you name it?
Oh, yeah.
Is there one? Is there one? Is there one? Oh, who? The backup quarterback for Washington when they lost 44-22? I mean, I don't know. Like who hasn't played? What quarterback hasn't shredded Dallas? So, listen, I bet Seattle wouldn't make the playoffs earlier in the year for 5,000 against somebody I'm going to lose. But that same person, I bet 5,000 that the Vikings will not win 9.5 games. And unless they beat the Ravens this week, I'm not going to lose that either.
Yeah.
So
the only play I really love tomorrow, I love Detroit. Got their ass kicked at home.
It is a square play, okay? But I'm with you, bro. I just don't see how the Washington defense has been shredded 3 weeks in a row. Dallas put up 44 on them. Fucking 28-7 Kansas City, and Kansas City was terrible in that first half. And then what Seattle did last week. I mean,
Dan Campbell is going to have that team ready to play.
They are going to be ready to play.
And then you got Washington coming home with the injury to Daniels, with the injury to McCaffrey. That's going to be a letdown.
The McCaffrey injury is really bad for them. Really bad because now they have nobody to throw to, right?
So I like that spot tomorrow.
I do too. It's a square spot, but just like the week before, coming off the bye, everybody was on Detroit, and it was all the square shit last week lost, right? I mean, even the Chargers threw a pick 6 and had a punt return for a touchdown, and they still won the game by 7.
They can't stay
I mean,
healthy.
the Titans are horrible. Yeah,
they can't stay healthy. That line can't stay healthy.
It's a shame. The Chargers losing Joe Alt after he just came back. I mean, I love the Steelers this week. I mean, I know they traded the deadline for a starter from off of a lower end team, whatever. But they're still what? They're missing 2 offensive linemen now this week, or 3.
Watt's going to go to town.
But you got to also look at the fact that what has Pittsburgh's fucking defensive line done before last week? But maybe they got a wake up call. They look like who we expected them to be last week. I don't know. I just know the Pittsburgh Steelers fans are going to take over that fucking stadium. They're going to have like 70% Pittsburgh fans because they've traveled better than anybody, and they're missing two or three offensive linemen. They don't have a running back.
They don't have a running game.
They don't have a running game. I think Pittsburgh is a really good play this week against the Chargers, but I don't trust.
They're getting 3?
Yeah, I don't trust them. I mean, I'm going to take them in my pick 'em, but only because of the injuries. And I don't know. Every time we write the Steelers off, they find a way. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's great to watch Aaron Rodgers continue to win, Darnold continue to win. It's the needling that it's just unbelievable.
Go look at all the quarterback draft class of 2017, right? They're all 2018. Was it 2018? Yeah, the first year Lamar was in the league. Yeah, so you had Darnold, Baker. Who was the other one? It's also
Rosen. He was a loser.
Yeah, you have 3 of them that are doing really well. And again, it takes time. I mean, look at Peyton Manning, year 1, 1-15. Year 2, 4-11. 11. It takes time for these young kids to develop. You can't just...
Well, you know when that got ruined, it was because the year when Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, and Phillip Rivers all got drafted, and they all started out of the get-go and had success.
And then Russell Wilson as a fourth-round pick. They were able to go to back-to-back Super Bowls because they had the great defense and they weren't paying the quarterback anything, right?
I also think the big difference, too, is those guys had a lot more starts in college than when they came to the NFL compared to the new guys, which, you know, for the Jets, I remember Sanchez, he was only 1 year at USC. Yeah. Darnold, again, 10 competitive games, and all these guys are coming out with such little exposure, and they're going from, you know, sometimes even mid-tier college to the NFL. The game's so fast.
And you got to remember, these teams that are drafting these quarterbacks, they're finishing last or second to last in the league the year before because their offensive line sucks. So now you got a rookie quarterback with a bad offensive line, and after a couple of years, you're giving up on him. And listen, I get it. Sam Darnold did not look good. But when he was a backup at Frisco behind Purdy the year they went to Super Bowl 2 years ago, like, he looked great when he came in for Purdy a couple times. And he looked like a different quarterback. He was stepping into the ball. He looked different. And then, you know, look how great he was with the Vikings last year. Yeah, you could say, look, in the two biggest games, he shit the bed. And that's what turned a lot of people off. But I guarantee you, they'd rather have him at $30 million a year, fucking the Raiders, than Geno Smith at $50 million a year. That's for sure.
Oh, 100. But there's also when you put a competent organization and competent coaching, and of course,
I didn't know.
Kevin O'Connell, who looks like a whisperer at this point, he was a Jet too. You know, just for shits and gigs to add it on. So it's just crazy. I mean, like you said though, the teams that draft these quarterbacks have a bad line. That's why Cleveland. I mean, the Jets, the Panthers.
Let's look at the Panthers. The Panthers quarterback Young, right? So Shroud looked like the steal of the world 3 years ago, year one, and he had a bad week last week, but Young's had a lot of good games. Like, does he look worse than Shroud?
He doesn't even cross 200 yards.
I know. But the run game's great, but he's not making the mistakes he was making in year 1 and 2. You know, he's not throwing the picks. But
you can't sell me that, hey, I'm a serious team and a contender for a division. Bryce Young's my quarterback.
I mean,
you can't.
The fucking and listen, Carolina's best receivers out. Looks like he's going to be out on Sunday too. So they're going to really try and run the ball, right? And then they ran the ball great. But when you have no threat of the pass, Saints are going to stack the box.
You have 2 games tomorrow. The Jets-Browns, when I watch that, I'm going to want to gouge my eyes out.
Well, I like the Jets. I mean, it's 2.5. I want to buy it up to 3 and take it. I don't think Cleveland's 3 points better. Do you know that this line opened, right? It opened 2 Jets. Got moved to 2.5 Cleveland. Now, you do understand that, like, certain players, none of these defensive or offensive, they're all worth like a quarter to a half a point. You know that, right?
Yeah.
So, first of all, Sauce Gardner didn't even play in last game. And they're getting Garrett Wilson back. Okay? And so where's the line move? Where is this line moving 4.5 points? You could take a quarter point from Williams, okay, on the defensive end. Give him a half a point, right? Where's the other 4 points? Sauce Gardner didn't play last week. Garrett Wilson's coming back. He didn't play last week. Where does this line doesn't make sense?
I mean, this is very. I mean, there might not be a touchdown in that game. I don't even know what the over.
I kind of like the over in the game because Cleveland gives up 30 points a game on the road, and they give up 9 a game at home. So
I can't imagine the over being anything more than mid-30s.
Well, it's pretty low. It's a 37. Last I saw. Let's see what it is now.
I mean, I don't know, but that Cleveland defensive line with Justin Fields, you know, could be.
Well,
it could be ugly.
It hasn't done much on the road. That's all I could tell you. And I don't understand this line move. To be honest with you.
Yeah, so, a 4-point swing, like you said, that doesn't totally matter. Not for Sauce.
4.5 point swing. They're 2 point favorites. Okay, so it was 2.5. I knew. What did I tell you? It was 2.5. I wanted to buy it to 3, but now it's already down to 2. And yeah, the line's 37.5. I was pretty. I had a feeling. Wow, the thing actually popped up. The Saints game is 38.5. I just don't know how they're fucking going to score in that game. Yeah. Yeah, 37.5. I was going to buy it to 3. It was 2.5. Now it's fucking down to 2. But I don't know. I think they got the wrong team favored in that game. I think the Jets are going to win. But who knows? They might go into full tank mode and just lose on purpose. Who the fuck knows?
I hope so. I don't want to drop down the draft board.
I mean, Cleveland needs a quarterback, so if they win, they'd have 2 wins. Cleveland would have 2 wins. I mean, who else has 1 win? Anybody? Miami
sucks. They're going to move off Tua.
I don't know if they're going to move off Tua. Tua plays a lot of really good games, but what his problem is now, he's afraid of getting a concussion. When you're playing scared, you're not aggressive. I mean, that's why he's not running anymore. He's making all these bad throws where he run before because he's afraid of getting injured. And you can't play football being afraid of getting injured. You just can't. All right, I'm going to take another call. Let's see who else wants to call. All right, we had a good talk.
All right, man. Good luck with your surgery.
Good luck, thank you, buddy, and good luck with your Jets, buddy. I'd hate to be a Jets fan. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Dodgers. I'm a dire Dodger fan about them winning the World Series. So we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. Anybody want to talk about the World Series? We'll talk about that. That was a great, great World Series. 702-329-0480. Talk NFL. We talk poker. We talk politics. Whatever you guys want. Yo, welcome to the Mouthpiece. What's up? This is Mike.
Hey, Mike. This is Andre from Green Valley.
Nice.
You're just getting into something I was going to ask you about because I seem to recall on your last podcast you said you were going to go see Game 3 of the World Series, and so I was, and I want to hear about it, man. Tell me.
So I was going to go to Game 3 of the World Series, the greatest game ever.
Okay.
So this is now back-to-back years. So last year I was going to go to Game 1, and I said, you know what? Let's just wait. I'll go to Game 6 and 7, right? And they never made it to Game 6 and 7. This year, I was going to go to Game 3. I had plans on going to Game 3. I was heading to Game 3. And this is one of the reasons I didn't have a podcast last week. And I was just in really too much. I was in so much pain. I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm going to have to fly. I'm going to have to get in a wheelchair. Then I'm going to have to rent a wheelchair down there. And my girl that I'm somewhat dating is going to have to push me around in the wheelchair through Dodger Stadium. Then the tickets were ridiculous for anything decent. They were like $2,400 a ticket. So that's $4,800 because I have to get 2 tickets. And
18 innings, you get your money's worth.
Yeah, and though if I was there, I would be up and down 1,000,000 times, and I'd probably be paralyzed by now. So I looked at it that way. I'm like, there's no way I could have made it through this 18-inning game with the way the pain I'm dealing with. So after that game, I'd feel like shit, but I'd be like, we're going to win. I got to go to another game. And so I would have gone to the next game and the next game, and I would have ended up going through 14,000, being down 3 games to 2 and wanting to shoot myself. So I'm kind of glad I missed it, but I'm kind of glad I didn't. Now going to Game 6 and 7, I mean, what I witnessed in that game, and I was tweeting with Daniel Negreanu or texting back and forth with him. He's a diehard Toronto fan. And, I lost on this game a little bit. I had the under straight. But I also had $1,000 on Yamamoto to win MVP. And the scary part about this bet, the great part about this bet is I got 9-1 on him before Game 6. I had friends that got down on him going to Game 7 at 7-1. Like, this was the biggest line mistake I've ever seen the bookmakers make in all the years I've been around sports. Because unless the only way Ohtani was getting it was if he pitched some gem or hit a home run or 2 and they won the game. But if he didn't pitch great, which I was Toronto killed the ball every game. right? If he didn't pitch great, right? So when they pulled him down 3-1, and I told my friend who bet Yamamoto at 7-1, I said, if we come back and win this game, Yamamoto's going to get MVP. I'm like, he's a lock. And so, once it became 4-2, then 4-3, and I'm just thinking to myself, if we somehow can tie this game, Yamamoto's going to come in and we win MVP for sure. But the truth of the matter is that was the bet to make at Game 7, that you could get Yamamoto after he's already pitched at 7-1, where if you listen to the broadcast, you heard what Big Papi said. If the Dodgers come back and win Game 7, Yamamoto's my MVP. And they all agreed after the game in Game 6. Yet,
so I don't even know who they made MVP. Was it Ohtani?
No, Yamamoto got MVP.
Oh, he did win. Oh,
yeah,
okay, great.
Unanimous. Yeah, he won 3 games of the 4. So if you look at
he was fantastic.
If you look at the World Series, right? And I said this, on every position on the field for the entire series, including every starting pitcher but one, they were the favorite. Toronto was the better team. They're like, well, look, yeah, they won better. Ohtani had one good game, okay? That's it. He had the one good game where it went 18 innings, right? But Yamamoto single-handedly won them 3 games. Single-handedly won them 3 games. And the other game that they won was because the Toronto manager was a moron. He must have thought he was getting ghost runners in extra innings or something, because he pinch ran for all his top bats. Do you remember when they got thrown out? He pitch ran for the guy. They got the double, and he got thrown out at home by 5 feet. Remember that? With Vlad was going to be on deck in what was that in Game 3? I mean, that was ridiculous.
Oh yeah, that was.
That's why Toronto couldn't score that game, because they had nobody to hit the ball besides Vlad and the guy that starts with an L. I forgot his name. Whatever.
I forget his name too. I know who you're talking about. So,
so they had 2 hitters because they pinch ran for everybody. They pinch ran for their third best hitter, the catcher, the little guy that hits home runs every which way, Kirk. And then and then the guy
Alejandro Kirk.
Then they get the double up the line, and the guy they pitched ran for was thrown out at home by 5 feet.
Yeah.
Like, how do you send them there with Vlad on deck? Just insane.
Oh.
And they had no chance to score.
You know what? I think that's got to be the best World Series I think I've ever seen.
I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. I've seen some great ones. I mean, the Arizona Yankees in 2001 was unbelievable.
Hey, let me take you back to football for a little bit.
Sure.
Let's talk about, for example, the Colts and Atlanta. They're playing in Berlin this week.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at the points now. I think
it's 6.
The Colts are favored by 6 or 6.5.
6.
Okay, so if that game was being played in Indiana at Lucas Oil, do you think 6.5 is about right if it was being played here?
Home field is worth 1.5 points.
Okay.
So
let me just get to my question, because I'm kind of dancing around it.
Yeah.
I think that there's too much chaos in the system for these overseas games for them to handicap the games properly. I can't bet them, because it's just like there's too many unknowns with this traveling to.
Let me tell you something.
To Germany.
If Indy is who I think they are, okay, I think they're going to rebound big, and I think Atlanta lost a game last week. They're the first team in NFL history to get 2 turnovers, have none of their own, allow 3 points in the second half. What was the other thing? There was another stat, and lose the game. First team since 1960. Like, it was just some retarded numbers. Like, no team had ever lost a game in which they put up the stats that they put up and lost because the kicker missed an extra point. I think the coach for Atlanta is absolutely horrible. I've said it for 3 years. But with that said, Atlanta has played 2 bad games this year. The 30-0 beat to Carolina, and the horrific game that cost me one of my survivors against Miami 2 weeks ago. 6 is a lot. 6 is a lot of points. But if Indy is the team I think they are, then I think they're going to win 31-13. I wouldn't take the 6. I just wouldn't. I have them in 2 teasers. I have one teaser with a 2-team teaser with Arizona on Monday that I already won, and then I have another teaser. It's a $500 teaser. I won. I had Denver, even though I had the Raiders first half in game. I also had Denver in a teaser. So I have a 4-team $500 teaser. I think. What is it? Let me look. Yeah.
How do you start fixing the Raiders?
There is no fix. There is no fix for the Raiders. I mean, let's put it this way. Well, I mean, they did lose 3 offensive linemen last game. They were playing with their 3rd string offensive line, so that was a disaster. So I have the Colts +1 with the Saints +12, 500 to win 1250. So doesn't really pay much, but it's a little small teaser. I think the Colts win. I don't know. I mean, I think they are. I actually think they're going to cover, but I can't. It's just a lot of points. I didn't like what I heard the Atlanta coach say. We have to go overseas. It's a miserable trip, but we're going to embrace misery. First of all, what coach says that?
He shouldn't be saying that. It is a miserable trip.
When I heard that, I said, "Well, I'm betting the Colts are nobody, right?" Because if you look at what the Rams did the week before, they stayed in Baltimore after they beat Baltimore. They practiced at Camden Yards. They tweeted out a beautiful day at the ballpark on Friday, and they showed them in Camden Yards practicing right before they went overseas. And we can't wait. We're ready. You take that with it's a beautiful day at the ballpark, right? We can't wait, and we're ready. To Atlanta's coach saying, "Oh, we have to go to fucking Berlin. That's misery."
Yeah.
But our team embraces misery. Just that one team is saying, "We love it here at Camden Yards. We can't wait to play," and they kick the shit out of fucking the Jags. And you have the other team saying, "This is misery." See, I pay attention to everything. When I saw that coach say that after they lost last week, I said, "There's no way that Indy's not winning this week. There's just no way." If Indy's a team, I think they are, and I really do think they're that good. I mean, they allowed 220 yards of offense and 3 points to Steelers last week. They just turned the ball over 6 times and gave them 24 points off turnovers. That ain't happening this week. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm with you on your analysis. I just still can't bet those overseas games. They just Twitter me out, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, the total's high.
So much chaos.
Atlanta's got a great defense. I mean, I think it's going to be like 28-13 or 31-16 or that's I think so. The total is 48. I mean, I think it's going to be an Indian under, but I'm not betting it. I have 2 teasers and we'll see how it goes. But
hey, do you have any opinions on Pete Carroll?
I mean, he's been washed up for fucking years. I mean, what has he ever done?
Yeah,
he got the Legion of Boom to back-to-back Super Bowls. Should have won 2 of them, and he punted off because he didn't run the ball with what's his name. And what does he show? Well, what has he shown with the Raiders? Like really? Okay, so yeah, they needed a receiver, so they picked Lockett up off of. I mean, they have nothing. They traded Jacoby Myers. I mean, they got something for him, but. I mean, this team has no offensive line. Their front 4 is good. Front 4 is great, but if Bo Nix missed people that you could have fucking hit with passes last week that were so wide open.
Yeah.
The Raiders are.
Well, hey, Mike, I'm going to let you go now. It's nice talking to you as always, and
all right,
hope
man.
You're feeling. Get some relief with your pain and God bless.
I'm going to Seattle next week to do this procedure, and I'm going with Seattle and Survivor. I think tomorrow. I mean, Rams is there's a rule of thumb in Survivor: never take division road teams in Survivor. It's like rule number 1. Even though I think the Rams are going to kill them because they want revenge for that Thursday game, and they're very injured. The San Francisco. And the Rams are really healthy. I mean, I watched the one team that kicked the shit out of Arizona this year, and that was Seattle. And the rest of them, Arizona could have won or should have won or didn't win. So if I go down with them, listen, I'm like I'm the only guy left of the four of us that has Seattle. And I'm also the only one that has the Rams. They all took Rams against Saints last week when I had the Bears. I could go Rams, and then I could go. What did I say? I could go next week. There was something I could go, and then in week 12 I could have Seattle against the Titans.
Yeah,
I could have Seattle against the Titans.
Yeah,
but that's it. That's where I'm at. Oh yeah, I could go the Ravens next week against Cleveland, right?
Yeah,
and that's it. So yeah, I could go 2 road division favorites in Survivor with the Ravens are going to beat Cleveland next week, especially if they beat Vikings this week. And the line's the same. Well, they're both 1-6 and 1-7. One open 3.5. One open 6 got moved to 7. I mean,
yeah,
I've never seen an NFL line, a favorite, move 3 points on the road like the Rams have. So I might go Rams. I really might. And then then I'm the only one that has Seattle in week 12 against the Titans. Titans ain't never winning another game.
Yeah. Well, I like the gamble.
Yep. Hey, I'm telling you right now, the 2 teams I'm so fucking hip on are Houston this week, and I don't know if they're going to win, but I think they're going to have a great chance to win. Is the Saints against Carolina?
Saints. Yeah,
this is just they're coming off the big win against the Packers. The only teams they've beaten are bad teams. And listen, the Saints are 1-7. They've played the toughest schedule in the NFL. Of the 8 games, they've only played one team or two. They have 2 teams with a losing record. The rest and that was the Giants, which they beat, and the other team was Arizona, which they lost to. What was that, week 2? I think it was. And Arizona's way better than a 3-5 team. All their losses are to teams that are combined like 43-18, if I'm not, or 43-15. So as bad as everybody looks at how the Saints look, they've played the toughest schedule in the NFL. Go look. I mean, look who they played. I mean,
are they playing early or afternoon tomorrow?
Early.
They're probably playing early.
But like, if you look at who they played, I mean, I really have studied this, and I'm just like, people are just saying, yeah, are the Saints not good yet? No, they're not good. But you know what? They've played the toughest schedule in the NFL. I mean, look at these fucking teams that they have played. It's just, I've gone over it a million times, so I'll bring it up again. Yeah. But Cardinals, week 1, 20-13. They easily could have won that game. 49ers, they're 5-3. Seahawks, they're 6-2. The Bills, they're fucking 6-2. Then they beat the Giants, losing record. Lost to the Patriots, 7-2. A game they should have won. Lost to the Bears, they're 5-3. Lost to the Buccaneers, they're 6-2. Lost to the Rams, they're 6-2. Look at the teams they played. They've played only one losing record. Yep. That's the Cardinals, who are 3-5 and easily could be 8-0. They gave away so many games. So as bad as the Saints have looked, they've played the toughest schedule in the NFL. Now they get a Carolina team off of the big win, who all their wins. Let's take away the Packer game, right? Right? You take away the Packer game and you look at Carolina's wins. I mean, look who they beat, right? They beat the Falcons. They're 3-6. They beat the Dolphins. They're 2-7. So that's 5-13. They beat the Cowboys. They're 3-5-1. That's 8-18-1. And they beat the Jets. They're 1-7. So that's 9-25-1 are the teams they beat. Not taking the Packers last week. Well, the Packers had to come flat. They were off the Pittsburgh game where they wanted to beat Rodgers so bad, and they had the Eagles on deck this week. So throw that, and they held Bryce Young to 100 yards off of passing, and the Packers didn't punt last week, and they still lost. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
the Panthers aren't good enough. The Panthers aren't good enough to lay 5.5 points to anyone. I mean, one team's played the toughest schedule. No, they've only played one losing team, the Saints. Think about that. That's crazy.
Yeah, and they're 1-8. That's
they're 1-7 because they've played the toughest schedule.
Yeah. Well, I like your argument, and
I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I just don't see how Carolina, and they play hard. Even when they're down 20, they're still playing hard. I don't know. I think they're going to win outright. I think that the fact that they are the chalk in Circus Survivor is funny to me. I think that's insane. I have my good friend Brett Ritchie. He completely avoided them this week. He took one. He has three left in Circus Survivor. He took 1 Bills and 2 Bears, and I do think the Bears are going to win. I don't know if they cover, but I wouldn't be caught dead with Carolina this week. But we'll see. I could be completely wrong, but I think my analysis, how I broke down these games, just tells me that Carolina is going to be life and death to win this week. I mean, they were life and death to beat the fucking Jets. What was one of their win? Oh, the one win over Miami. They were down 17-0 in that game. If you remember. I'm just saying they're not. Miami has no pass defense. I don't know, man. We'll see. All right, my man. Have a good one.
All right. Yeah, my cracker. Take care. I'll talk to you later.
All right. That's 2 good calls. 702-329-0480. I feel like talking with people tonight. Give me a call. We'll shoot the shit. Poker. NFL. My Dodgers winning the World Series. What a win. I still can't believe it. Oh, I got my video. Where's my... Oh, man. If you get my... I didn't put it out live, but I could show it to my fans. But I have a video of when we hit the home run. I took a video. I was videoing everything when all those people were on base because I wanted to get some kind of a reaction. But I got me when we hit the home run, too. Welcome to Mouthpiece. This is Mike.
Mikey, what's happening,
What's
buddy?
up,
Just
buddy?
be Frank.
What's up, Frank? Go get my phone in my room. I'll show my viewers my video from when we hit the home run. What's going on, my man?
Not too much, man. Same old, same old. How's life been treating you? Been a minute.
I'm okay. I'm just hoping that this procedure helps me. You know, I don't want to be wasting $11,000 and do nothing for me. Now, it's a procedure that what they're doing, it's kind of complex, but they're shooting Botox into this muscle that's malfunctioning, that's pressing on something called the pudendal nerve that's causing all my fucking pain. And they're going to paralyze the muscle. And the Botox lasts for like 3 months. But when they paralyze the muscle, they're hoping that it shrinks it like just a millimeter, just enough to take
it won't press against what
it won't press against the nerve. It's a procedure that this guy invented. This guy in Seattle, and I got recommended to him by somebody here in Vegas, and I've watched the procedure like 10 times, and I think it's going to work. And
what's the success rate of it? How many?
Well, I talked to the lady yesterday. I said, what is the success rate? I said, let's be honest. I go 50% less pain. And she says, honestly, our people get between 75 to 90% less pain. She says, yes, some people get 50% less, and then they redo it in 3 months, and then they get it up to 85 or 90. But if I get 50% and I have to redo it again in 3 months, well, what's $11,000 if I could get it complete? You know what I'm saying? But if
for the pain you've been going through for years, it's worth its weight in gold.
It really is. And so, mothers have intuition. And before I even showed my mother the video of the procedure they're doing, she's like, I have a good feeling, go to Seattle, right? My pain doctor, who I showed the video to of what they want to do. At first he was like, these special procedures don't really work, blah, blah, blah. And then I went and saw him personally, and I showed him what I'm going through and why I believe that this is going to work. And he was punching all kinds of stuff into the AI, into different things. And he said to me, Mike, go to Seattle. I have a feeling this is going to work for you. Yes, originally I didn't, but the more I think about where you are pain-wise with my pelvic floor situation and watching the spasms I'm going through, he thinks that it's going to work. And so once I got him to say go, that really made
some reassurance.
Yeah,
Is it an invasive type surgery, or is it pretty mild?
It's just like, it's honestly, like when you go in, they put an IV and they put you to sleep they give you this very small what's it called, anesthesia, and it's just like, it's almost like a nerve block, which the kind of what they're doing.
So you're going to be in twilight, I guess, during the
procedure.
procedure.
and then you're good to go. As soon as you walk out of the office, you're not in any pain, because what they're doing is they're doing three things. I'm going there at 1:40. They take blood. I'm doing a plasma rich. You've heard of that, the PCP, the PRP, plasma rich therapy, PRT. And then they shoot the blood back into where your pain's coming from. Then they're paralyzing the obturator internus muscle, and then they're doing this nerve ablation that's supposed to trick your brain into rewiring your brain to make it think like you're not in pain. Like, that's why they give you, when you go through a lot of pain, a lot of times they give you antidepressants, because the antidepressants will make you feel good and trick your brain into
kind of like what that ketamine treatment does as well.
Correct. And I've used that a little bit too, and it's actually, believe it or not, my pain doctor is really big on it, and even my psychiatrist thinks that she's not. She said she's not 100% there yet, but she's really close. Of how good the ketamine spray or ketamine treatments are. So, yeah.
How old are you now, Mike?
57.
Why not, man? I mean, 11K is 11K, but when you're talking about quality of life, it's worth the shot. And if it's something you have to do every 3-4 months,
and you know what,
makes your life more
my mother
bearable,
said my mother said to me, she said, I want you to do it. She goes, and I want to pay half. So my mother paid half for it, which is very nice of her. She didn't have to give me anything.
Oh, that's sweet.
And I don't need the money, but I just, she really has a good feeling on it. And listen, I mean, if it doesn't work, whatever, it's $11,000 out the door.
Are there any adverse side effects that you have to worry about? Or
no, it's just kind of like when I go in and get a nerve block, right? And and all of a sudden, once it wears off, and it didn't work. It didn't work. You know how many nerve blocks I've had that didn't work? And all those nerve blocks cost like $2,600 a pop. But my insurance covers it out here, so it cost me whatever.
Small copay.
Yeah, small copay, right? It's kind of like a nerve block. They're doing the nerve thing, and they're doing this thing where they're shooting the Botox into the obturator internus muscle. And if they're right, and that's what's
the shot, man.
If they're right, which my physical therapist is 100% convinced that it's all coming from the obturator internus muscle. My pain doctor is convinced it's coming from this muscle. And the AI, after putting all my symptoms in, is convinced it's coming from this muscle. So if they're right and this works, I will then know I will not have this horrific pain when I get up and down that's in my hip and in my knee and whatever. We'll see what happens.
when you'd be able to verify that you pinpointed the cause, the root cause.
That's another thing. Yeah, exactly. And if it doesn't work, well, then it's something else. And now, if it doesn't work, now we're going to have to look at, is it my...
Well, hopefully everything
is it all coming from my disc? Is it all really coming from the other disc? And if it's all coming from the other disc, now we're just fucked. But my physical therapist, my pain doctor, and the guy in Seattle are convinced this is what's causing the pain. So we'll see. So how you been?
Best of luck with that, man.
Thanks, man. What's up? What's been new?
I haven't played a hand of poker in coming on 2 months.
Really?
I decided to quit, I guess. Quit playing online 100%. And I decided that, when the circuit comes around here and there, I might just recreationally go take a few shots at a tournament here and there for fun. But I have too many other, I spoke about this last year, and I went in and out, never really fully committed to it. And being completely honest with you, what was the main reasoning to it? Just I took a step back and did some self-reflecting.
But I told you that to do that. I said, listen, your family's more important.
Did.
That's what you needed to do, because now you could focus on your business and your other things right now. And then when things turn around there and you're in the right headspace, then you start playing. There's no reason for you to put yourself what you're putting yourself through. At least that's how I felt.
Yeah, it was miserable, man. It's like I have 3 children. I have 2 teenagers, one that's 7, a wife, a small business, all this, I have a big overhead, ton of responsibility. Here I am playing, and depending on how that day of online poker went, whether I'm going to be in a pissed off mood or whether I'm going to be like, super elated. So
and trust me, I get it. You can't play poker where a session, win or lose, decides how you're going to feel for that day. And so many people are like that. And poker needs to be where you're playing a limit that you win or lose, that it doesn't matter.
Mike, I swear to God, it had nothing to do with the money, even though it hurts. You know what I mean? Losing 3,000 or 4,000, 2,000 or 3,000 in a session, it literally doesn't change my life realistically. So if I get on and I play, let's say I'm playing a juicy 2-4 game and I win, I run good and I win 5,000-6,000 that session or that, that day, it makes my life literally means nothing. But if I get on and lose 3,000 or 4,000 in that session, it puts me in such a fucking bullshit
listen,
mood.
when I used to play really big, right? When I used to play really big, right? If I won, I don't know, if I won 30 or 40,000 in a day, didn't even faze me. But when I lost 20 or 30, it bothered the fuck out of me.
Yeah, it's devastating. And
it just, I've lost we call it a bean, but I've lost 100 twice, or 3 times, 2 or 3 times. I've lost a bean, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I fucking couldn't breathe for 3 or 4 days. And I used to play really big. It's like now. I mean, the biggest loss I took was a year ago, February, where I lost 85,000 on February 7th last year. But, I hadn't took a big loss in forever because, listen, even when I used to play really big, I didn't play really big. If I was playing on Poker After Dark, I didn't have where I had all myself. Full Tilt was putting up for me, and if I lost, it went into makeup, But I always won. I wanted to stay out of makeup because, listen, we were playing really big. It was easy to win $250,000, right? You win 2-3 pots, you win $250,000. And I would always...
Yeah, that's a big chunk of money.
Well, I would always play where the most I would lose would be 1 bullet. And when I win, I would win 250 or 300. And, you go back to that hand where Phil fucking blessed me with deuce 7 and I had kings, right? Oh, that's the worst fold ever. Well, I told Phil that day that I was on 1 bullet, so I had to be careful. Because
that was such a shady move on his part,
of course it was.
In my opinion.
It was. I brought, how many times I bring it up to him? It's like you only took that shot at me because you knew I was on one bullet, and I had to, for my image and my likeness, I needed to get hours on.
Yeah, of course. Playtime meant more to you than winning 100K in that
correct.
section.
My being on TV was really important to me. So, yeah, Phil bluffed me that hand, but I won 176,000 that day, and he lost 176,000 that day. But then nobody talks about
Karma's
that.
a bitch.
And so, I've done. I think I was the second biggest winner on high stakes poker when they had it. Behind Tom Dwan was the highest, and that's because I would even I'd start with 100. If I went double, I would always say, "Hey guys, nice playing with you. I'm not playing 400K deep with you guys." Because
have a good day.
First of all, I'm way miles better playing deep now than I was back then, because I put a lot of hours in playing deep. But back then, I felt like I was. You got to remember, I got cheated in by UB by Russ Hamilton, and my ability to pull the trigger was not very good.
Yeah, your confidence was.
My confidence was slow, and so I didn't want to play deep with them because my confidence was not up for many years.
Even if it wasn't, with all due respect, that was that with that lineup. Even if you are a favorite, it's not by enough to where you're going to be printing EV.
No, I was listen. We high stakes poker was all for exposure on the TV. Like yeah, they're filming high stakes poker this week, right? This weekend, and what's it called? I don't know if you've been watching it. The live, they've had the live stream that they've been live streaming it this weekend. It's on Poker Go right now. And
what did you get paid for that, Mike? I think you mentioned it like $1,000.
We got paid $1,500. We got paid $1,500 an hour. Which is nothing. That's like one big. But what were y'all playing? 2,400? No, we're playing 4 and 800.
4 and 800.
We're playing 4 and 800 with. Everybody bought it. Almost everybody bought him for 100. Very few people bought him for 2, right? And now you're watching. They're playing 2 and 400, and everybody's got $1 million on the table right now. I don't know if you've been watching today, but there's Keating's down like $1 million.
No, I haven't.
Keating's down like $1 million. Santoshi made this ridiculous, insane triple barrel bluff on Kiki, which was pretty sick. You've been watching it, Mike? Yeah. I heard it's been really good to watch. I watched like 10 minutes of it. I was just watching football, but I only watched because some people were telling me about some of the hands. Check it out. But, that's what you're seeing there. That wasn't like what high stakes poker was back in the day. Like, people don't realize not many people bought in deep back then. If it was 4 and 800, most people bought in for 100. Some people bought in for 2. There was like 2 people that bought in deep, like Tom Dwan and like maybe Phil Galfon or Phil Ivey, And now they're playing 2-400 with $1 million on the table. It's just like raise, re-raise. That's what you're seeing there. It's like that's not like a real lot. That's not real life. Like I play enough poker to know. No, not
whatsoever.
I know. I play enough poker to know that all the best players in the world are fucking nits, and don't let them tell you any different. They all play fucking. I played at tables where I draw 5 of the top Poker Go winners, and I'm playing 7-handed with them, and nobody puts a chip in the pot. Nobody puts a chip in the pot. There's no raise, 3-bet, 4-bet.
It's like a drama. They have to create dynamic and action and stuff, and they want to make it look like it's 2005 and 6 when everyone's 4 and 5 betting light and shit.
Yeah.
When
that's
obviously not the case.
What I watch Airball do on HCL, he's obviously laundering money. Or trying to. I shouldn't say that. I'm joking around when I say that. But I'm just like I watch him. I watch Mariano. It's like check raise all in, snap call. I watched a hand where the guy called like a double raise. It came Jack 8 deuce yesterday. The guy there's 101,000 in the pot. Somehow he put in like a 4-bet, called like 33,000, and the flop came Jack 8 deuce, and he just jams 51,000. And Peter had 10s, and he folds. And Mariano says, I call, just snap calls him with ace king. The guy has ace jack. And it's like the easiest fold ever. And it's like, there's not, I mean, I'm watching Mariano just snap call hands that are just, there's no way he's ever good. And he's never good. I mean,
I don't get that guy. Like Brad Owen seems pretty authentic, but
Yes.
Mariano, whatever the fuck his name is,
him,
like,
Airball,
I don't know if he has sponsorship to where like he's not.
I just think he's
real
ran
money.
so fucking good that he's lost track of reality. And when the deck goes against him, he's going to hit a real wake up call. And like, again, I like Nick Airball. I'm not trying. I was joking around. I said it's laundry money, but like this guy was really nitty and used to give off like he was some action guy. Now all of a sudden, Airball's in there trying to ever since Keating told him what a nit he was, and then he tried to triple barrel $500K against Keating when he had the 8-4 offsuit in the $1 million game. Do you remember that? Ever since then,
no, I don't.
Like Airball's trying to prove to everybody that he's not a nit, that he's just like playing, just calling off like not even focused, just snap calling hands where he just doesn't even think about it. And so
I've seen home games run like that, Mike, that have that type of action, but it's all on books where the money it's a facade because it never truly exchanges hands. In my opinion,
if somebody, again, I would never say anything about anybody because I don't know anything, but if somebody has a certain amount of income coming from somewhere, they
making
have
dirty
to,
money clean, essentially.
They have to, exactly. I'm not saying anybody's doing it, but it's like Cole South said.
It's a possibility. Obviously.
Cole South said it 2 years ago on Twitter. If it looks like they're stealing it, they usually are. That's it.
Yeah, that dude was one of the best players in the world online. Like, he was top 10, 110%.
Because the truth of the matter is rich people don't play poker like some of these hands that you're watching. They just don't. If when they're playing like this, listen, they're doing it for a reason. They're doing it to either look bad so they could get invited to home games that are 3 times bigger, or they have to.
Which I think Keating does that really well. I know Antonio used to do that really well.
Keating is the best at it. Yeah. Or they have to wash some money. You got to lose some money. I mean, I'm not saying I don't have any idea of anything. I'm just
whatever they're doing. God bless them.
God bless them. Right. It's not something I could just say. Oh, I know. I'm not going to name anybody. I don't have one clue what anybody's doing. I just know when you see things like, how can that guy put in 100,000 there? How can that guy put in 200,000 there? Right? How can you have to, you just don't, it's just, I don't know, man.
Can I give you an example? Like, this is someone I think you were pretty good friends with, like Brian Hastings.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
I'm still good friends with Brian. He's a good guy.
Well, it was him. I'm pretty sure it was Cole South and what was the other dude's name? Brandon Adams, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. They play a lot online.
Over Victor Blum's hand history and basically came up with a style that played perfect against him, exploiting all of his tendencies and whatnot. They did that to win $2 or $3 million from him.
I do.
And that's splitting it 3 ways. You know what I'm saying?
And I've watched Victor Blum, who I think is one of the nicest guys in poker, play on Phenom for a while. When I was playing on Phenom, I haven't been playing for a while because I lost a lot. And I thought I just was running so bad, and I thought everybody was a pro and the games were tough. And I thought I'd just stay away for a while. But I watched him lose infinite playing head up against Jungle and against Jared Blesnick. He had a great World Series.
Unless he changed his style dramatically, like, that style is not going to work today.
Well, I played with him. He had a great World Series this year. I just watched. He was like, "You played too tight, Mike," and I'm watching this guy just 3-bet hands that I wouldn't be caught dead 3-betting, and then he would be like fucking dead, and then scoop, and I'd be like, I'd never seen anything like it, I mean, even in the Big O tournament, it went raise, and I 3-bet ace, king, queen, deuce, 3, double. Like probably the best hand you could have in Big O. Pot. So it goes pot, pot. Like when I 3-bet, I'm going to have aces with like, and they're never going to be bad aces. Like if it's ace, ace, 4, 5, 10, I'm never 3-betting. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, king, queen, or ace, ace, paint, deuce, 3, or ace, ace, deuce, or something like that. And he came for the double with the ace, king, king, 4, 5. And the flop came king, 3, 8, where I flop top and bottom with nut low draw. And I pot, and he pots me all in, and somehow he has 3 kings, and a deuce rolls right off, and he just scoops. And
sounds about right.
And then he ends up finishing 4th in the Big O. And he was playing hands that I wouldn't be caught dead with. You know, I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm sure he's a great player. But in Big O is a fucking nit game. I mean, you're going to die potting and repotting pre-flop in Big O. It's a total trap game. Yeah, so.
I don't know much about it. I never really played.
I'm going to be playing Big O on November 21st with Phil. Looks like the grinder is going to play. There's going to be like 3 fish in the game. And we're playing the afternoon at noon before the race, the F1 race. Now, it kind of sucks. I don't really want to go down or be anywhere near the strip during F1. But I committed to it, and we were going to play 3 in the afternoon, which I was really against. I'm like, because they're going to close how do we get across how do I get home? I mean, everything's going to be closed. So we changing it to noon, and hopefully we'll be able to get out.
Is that going to be televised?
The F1 race? Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah, it's going to be live streamed on the Venetian. So
yeah, that'll be pretty cool.
It'll be quarter 50-100. I mean, I should fucking murder that game. But Big O is not like PLO8. You could fucking just get it in so good and lose. But
that's literally like, I had 2 things. I just want to share this really quick, and then I'll let you go. I know you probably have other callers you want to take.
Sure.
I had 2 things that truly made me decide to quit for good, and you know, some of your listeners and stuff could mock me for this. You know, everyone has their own opinions and stuff, but I'm a born-again believer in Christ. And for one,
nice.
I realized that poker became an idol.
Let me ask
in
you
my
something.
Life. It was something
did the death of Charlie Kirk bring you there?
110%, absolutely. It
Nice.
it brought revival to my life, my family's life, my marriage,
Right.
and it's something that actually stuck. You know what I mean? It wasn't just a 1-2 week.
Listen,
thing.
I get it, dude. It's like I've always been spiritual, but like I wanted, I wanted to go to to synagogue that week. His messaging is so what the country needs. It really was. It's
absolutely. I'm happy you asked that, because that's literally what brought it on.
That's amazing.
I started reading the Bible, which I haven't in years.
It's great.
And literally while I was reading one day, I realized, look how much time I spend with poker. And you're a professional. You do it for a living.
Right.
I don't. So it's a recreation for me, like a passive income, not passive, but, an extra side income that I would use it for. But I realized I neglected everything else that should be most important to me in my life.
I mean, we had Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and I can't really leave the house, but I spent 4 days with the TV off and watch it and doing high holidays and I listen. I believe in life. You have to put God in your life. I mean, it should be first. And when everything was bad for me is when I lost belief in God. And so, it's when that happened to Charlie Kirk, I was I was wrecked over it. It bothered me so much because the things they were saying, the lies, and the lies got him assassinated. And I mean, it's 50-50. I mean, you really think that Trump's gonna make it through 4 years? I mean, it's gonna be tough, dude. I mean, the lies at the
it makes you truly realize it's not right versus left. It's literally good versus evil.
It's good
I'm
versus
not saying
evil.
everybody on
It's
the
good
left
versus
is
evil.
But
you know, the fact that they and listen, I've looked into this shutdown. I'm not stupid. I'm not a right winger. Okay, it's all about they want the Obamacare subsidiaries, and Trump, and that's what it comes down to. So it comes down to them getting the subsidiaries for 30 million people, right? Which half of them are probably 6 million of them are illegal. And the thing is those Obamacare subsidiaries and shit, like Obamacare, that's what drove our health insurance up to $1,100 a month. My health insurance was $240 a month before Obamacare got passed. Because somebody has to pay for it. That's the thing. Somebody has to pay for it. And,
there's no such thing as free money. Anything
right.
free.
If you think the insurance companies are going to give you free and the government's going to give you free, they're not. Somebody has to pay for it. And there's no such thing as free, you know. And that's another thing. Anybody who wants to tell me, dude, I know for a fact the GOP was salivating that this guy is the mayor of New York. I think it's disgusting.
I don't see how that's possible. Like, I truly don't see how that's possible.
What do you mean? They get to run on 20. They get to run at the midterms. Mandami's the head of the Democrat Party, and he's a fucking communist socialist, and they're just going to run on. Dude, he's come out, said out, yes, I'm a fucking communist socialist, right? I mean, and Trump, do you want our country to turn into socialism and communism, or do you want, or are we going to be a free country? What's that?
How large of a Jewish community there is in New York? Like,
that's insane.
How did
We
they
haven't
not show up, or did they all just vote blue?
Well, here's the thing. There's 3.5 million Jews in the United States, and 2 million of them live in New York, or something 1.5. Some are. How could they not? I mean, I know all the Orthodox came out in force against him, but you know, if Trump really didn't want Mandani to win, he would have made the GOP guy drop out. Okay, because he knew he had no chance, and then he would have put
the long game, I guess,
and he would have put all his might behind Cuomo. But what did he do the night before the election?
Waited till last minute.
The night before the election, he said, "Vote for Cuomo. I'd rather have a bad Democrat than a communist." They want him in. This is like me and Daniel were talking today. It's a gift to the Republican Party. This guy's a gift.
Essentially.
He's a gift.
If you look at it from that, the lens, yes, I agree.
Dude, he's come out. He doesn't want a two-state solution he wants Israel off the face of the map. He is an absolute, he's like Hamas. He's an absolute Jew-hating, well, maybe he doesn't hate Jews, but he hates Israel and everything Israel stands for and everything Zionism stands for. But as you know, as a born-again Christian, and Charlie Kirk said it many times, there is no Christianity without Judaism. And he would always quote the Old Testament and everything about the Old Testament. And that's why Charlie Kirk was so great. And listen, my brother is a Jew for Jesus, which is good for him. Me, I'm a traditional Jew. I believe in the Old Testament, not the New Testament, but that's my belief. And I could be wrong. My brother said many times, I could prove to you that Jesus exists. He says, I could prove it to you if you sit with me for 3 hours. And maybe I'll sit with him because I'm a very open-minded person, I'm not a person that
yeah, what do you got to lose? It can't hurt.
Exactly. And, listen, the more God you bring into your life, the more happiness you'll have in your life. And I know that from when things were really bad for me and I had lost belief in God. And once I got it back, things turned around. And so
I could not agree with you more. I was going to say, since I haven't gambled in a couple of months, and I've truly
you've got listen. Listen, when the next time you play poker, it won't be gambling. It'll be you enjoying yourself. And if you win or lose, it's not. Sure. It's going to be. I had fun God was with me. I won tonight. I had fun. I lost. And that's what it has to be. You know, if it's anything other than that, then it's not right. And that's kind of how I try and treat every day of life, you know. But
true, man. Every day is a gift, and you know, it's all about perspective. Best of luck to you, man. I hope your procedure goes well, and you know, you find a resolution to your issues. And
I appreciate
when you
it.
have some time, man, I hope you do take the time out and speak with your brother.
Yeah, I will.
Best, good talking to you, man.
You too.
Best wishes for you.
You got it, Frank. Love you, brother.
Care.
Thank you.
Bye. You too, man. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's just people say that the elections this week are so good for the Democrats. Okay, they won in bright blue cities. Okay, there was no Republican that has ever won in these cities except for in Virginia when the one guy won last time. But they ran an anti-Trump person against Spamberger, and that's why they lost. You know, but other than that, they won in bright blue states, and they're like, "Oh, well, look at all the people we won." Dude, we want, Mandy. We want, if socialists and communists win elections and they come out and admit being a socialist or communist, they can't win a general election. This is the biggest gift ever. And I think Trump allowed it on purpose. I asked Daniel about it. He says, the GOP wanted it, but I don't know about Trump. I'm like, why? I'm like, he's the head of the GOP. If he didn't want it, he'd have had the one guy drop out, and he'd have put his full weight behind Cuomo. They wanted this. Trust me, it's a gift. It's a fucking gift. Anybody thinks it's not, crazy. 702-329-0480. I'll take one more call. Talk poker, NFL. My Dodgers won the World Series. I mean, can you imagine that? Look at the parlay that had to happen for my Dodgers to win the World Series. There had to be the crazy ball that gets stuck in the wall on Game 6. They were showing people out there in the outfield that were throwing the ball as hard as they could right in the crevice where the ball landed. Nobody could ever make the ball stick into the wall. And I should have figured they were going to win it when that happened, because if that doesn't stick into the wall, you have a man on third, maybe even he scores. And who knows, they might probably lose Game 6. So you get the ball stuck in the wall, so it's a double. And then the guy gets picked off for a double play at second base. I mean, look at what Mickey Rojas did. He put him in Game 6. He made the incredible play, double play, Game 6, Game 7, throwing the guy out at home where the guy's foot comes off the bag, and they win the world. They don't lose. Toronto loses the World Series by what, 2 inches? And then he puts, with 2 outs in the ninth, he puts Pages out in the outfield, who makes a play that Kiki Hernandez could never have made. And if he had to cover 121 feet to make that catch. I mean, the miracle by miracle by miracle by miracle that had to happen for them to win was insane. Even the bottom of the ninth, when Vlad hit the ball right off looked like he hit a home run. They were showing velocity. So the 98 mile an hour with the 117 mile an hour off the velocity of the bat had happened 6 times this year in baseball, and 5 of the 6 were homers. So same with the what was the other one that the Toronto guy hit to the wall. So just crazy things that had to happen for the Dodgers to win. It was, I mean, I think somebody asked me before, was it the best World Series ever? I mean, honestly, it was, because we had 3 games that were so bizarre. You had the complete game 2, Yamamoto was incredible. You had the Dodger bullpen implode Game 1, Grand Slam, Barger. You had the 18-inning Game 3, which was just incredible. And Game 4 and 5, Toronto dominated. And Game 6 was all Dodgers. I mean, Yamamoto threw a great game, and then, of course, the Dodgers, who had such a bad bullpen. I mean, the ball had to stick in the wall, or it's a tie game. And then Game 7, they were dead. They had a 191 batting average going to Game 7. They end up finishing the game because they had so many hits in Game 7 late. The Dodgers finished with a 200 batting average, and that was the lowest batting average to win the World Series also since 1960. And the year before, they had a 203 batting average. So the Dodgers batted 203 and 200 in back-to-back World Series and won. So all those stars that they paid, that's not what won them the game. I mean, last year, they had no starting pitching. The relief pitching was lights out and won them every game. This year, they had the best starting pitching in baseball. And they brought baseball back to where it used to be, where starting pitching decided games. And in Game 7, they didn't even go to their bullpen. They threw all 4 of their starters. They threw their whole entire fucking starting pitching out there for Game 7, including Yamamoto on back-to-back games. Pretty incredible. All right. Well, it was good podcast. Good calls. I wish you all luck in the NFL tomorrow. I'm really, 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 really confident on the 2 games of the 3 I bet. I'm actually confident in all 3. It's either I'm right or they're right on the Eagles. And I do believe the Saints are going to win outright, but I'm getting 5.5. I do believe the best 3 and 5 team in the NFL is the Houston Texans. They have the number 1 defense in the NFL. I don't think much of the Jags. And I do think the backup quarterback's going to find a way to get them a 13-10 win and get them back in the playoff picture, because if they win this game, they get to 4-5. They got Tennessee next week, which will get them to 5-5. And with that defense, they're in the hunt for the playoffs, and I think they could do damage. So my 3 bets that I bet 2K on each one is all 3 games. I got Houston for 2K, +2 to pick them now. I got +5.5 on the Saints, and I got a bad line. I laid 2.5 with the Packers. It's pick them now. The loss to Tucker Kraft is pretty big, but I believe I watched the Eagles this year. They've been outgained 6 out of 7 games. The only game that they should have won this year was the Giant game. They easily, if Carson Wentz wasn't playing with that broken shoulder, they could have won that game. The 4 games before that, they could have. I mean, they're just. I'm not convinced. Now they come off a bye, and they got Zay Alexander in the back end of the defense. They got the other guy up front. I mean, they could be dominant, and I could be completely wrong. I think the fucking Packers are that good. I think they played to their competition. They did it against the Browns. They did it against last week, and I think they play a good game, and I think they win the game. I'm going to go, I know you guys are going to think I'm crazy here. I'm going to go Packers 27, Eagles 17. There you go. I could be wrong. Listen, the bookmakers, the way the line's moving, they're telling me I'm completely wrong and that the Eagles are way better, and I don't believe they're better. I believe that defense is for real, and when they come to play, we'll see what happens. So I wish you guys luck. Nice talking. Good conversations tonight. You know, it's good to have God in your life. It's good to enjoy your life, and listen, enjoy the football. Starts at 6 a.m. with my Colts. I'm all in on the Colts. You guys know that. I'll see you next week. Wait a minute. I have to go to Seattle on Friday. So I will announce my picks next week, but the podcast is going to have to be on Sunday. Take care. Wish me luck. Have a good one.
The Mouthpiece.